Okay, hello viewers. You are on the Rags page, and I have with me today a very interesting person. Um, on to the other screen, Colette, you want to wave hi to the audience? I know this
Hi.
is very strange. They've always seen me with those big cameras and sitting in studios, but this is as clean and as real as we can get, guys. So this is Colette Barr, my friend, my darling friend. Thank you, Colette, for saying yes for this interview. It means a lot to my tribe and to the children of UAE, and we'll tell them why. And Colette is the founder of an organization called Save Our World for the Middle East. Am I right, Colette?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, you got it
Hmm.
right.
Let me quickly tell the audience what I was reading. So I was reading, reading is one of the most marvelous adventures that anyone can have. True, isn't it, Colette? And my
Absolutely.
darling friend, you, Miss Colette Barr, you don't just tell children about the world, but you show the children the world. And bless you for that. And I think I wanted to start this interview in that, so I wanted to show the people what you do. So you said before we start that you go out to these schools in the United Arab Emirates and you show them your books. What do you do? Can you tell us a little bit about how you engage teachers and children and schools?
Absolutely. Okay, so first of all, thanks very much for having me. It's great to be on. So follow your show. So it's great. Thank you. And yeah, so founder of Save Our World. So that's a company that I set up a couple of years ago now with my illustrator, Leona Collins. And what we do is we create children's books based in the UAE on the environment. So I'm the author. There's 5 books in the series. So far, we've published 3 and I've just finished the 4th one. And the 5th one will be coming out before the end of this year. And they're all about sustainability. They're in English and Arabic. And what we do is, generally speaking, we go out to schools and do kind of author visits, author and illustrator visits, which are a great success because the children really engage with that. And not only do I do story readings and tell them all about what we're doing, but they really love all the art as well. And they can relate to the characters because they're local characters and things like that. So that really works for the teachers because it kind of works into the curriculum here. And the children obviously identify themselves with the characters in the stories as well. So yeah, that's the main thing that we do.
Awesome. Awesome. I fall in the bracket of children, Colette, because I'm very creative and I'm always imagining things. I'm very imaginative. So I think I'm a child. Okay, so let's get started with this interview. So my question number 1 for you, Colette, is what's been your inspiration behind environmental children books, particularly for the Middle East?
Okay, so people ask me this a lot, and I say, well, there's so much inspiration. There's inspiration around us all the time, every single day. So I get inspired by just being outside, nature, the ocean. We're so lucky here. We have the desert and the ocean. And being outside is just generally, so we're just full of energy, and that's where I get my inspiration from. I also have 2 children who are very very energetic. And yeah, and also I was just looking and thinking about things, thinking they don't really have as much environmental learning or education than I would like them to have. I want them to have more of appreciation for being outdoors and really grateful for what they have and look after it. I just feel like we've made such a mess of things, our generation, maybe our parents' generation, and we really need to do something about it. So yeah, inspiration is everywhere, and especially the Middle East because it's a new country. It's advancing so quickly, and maybe it's not had the opportunity to have all the infrastructure in there that you need in order to have a more eco-friendly environment. But to be honest, the UAE is getting there. I mean, even in the 2 years that I started doing this, there's so many more organisations doing stuff. There's so much more about sustainability and environmentally friendly products. So it's great.
I can't agree less to this point because I've been a Dubai kiddo myself and I've seen exactly. So when you were saying this, I could feel myself back then when I was in school. You've nailed the hammer on the head. You're absolutely right. When we were growing up as children, we didn't have as many opportunities. But it's amazing to see how the United Arab Emirates is now quickly pacing up. And our channel is about sustainability and ecology and saying yes to everything that's green. And it's so nice to meet people like you while we're doing this. So we like this journey, Colette, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny actually because my mother-in-law, who used to be a teacher in Scotland, she gave me a book at the beginning of this journey, and it was called The Learning Tree. And it was a book that we
Wow.
were given in the 70s and 80s at school. And really,
Yes.
in that book, it was about burning all your rubbish, burning your trash. That's what they did. They took our trash and they went and burned it. And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's just like so bad. We were taught that at school. That was the right thing
Wow.
to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that is obviously still out there circulating.
Mm,
I'm like, we need to do
yes.
something about this, you know.
I'm glad you highlighted this point, Colette. Yeah. Don't burn trash. Whoever's listening to us. Okay, our question number two. Okay, this is very interesting. Voices of the future generations. I was reading about this on your page, but can you tell my viewers more about this writing initiative?
Yeah, so this is actually something from UNESCO, so the United Nations, and
Oh,
it, yeah, so it's not our organisation, and I think this is actually a United Nations organisation, which it's called Voices of Future Generations, Arabia or Middle East, and it's actually one of the sheikhs is leading this as a goodwill ambassador
oh,
for the United Nations here in the UAE. And
oh,
it's a competition, it's a global competition, writing competition for children to write children's stories. So you can actually learn more about that at Voices of Future Generations, Middle East, I think it is, or Arabia. And it's run by sort of the Emirates Literature Foundation as well. They're helping support
yeah,
it. So
sure.
Save Our World is a resource for that initiative. And so at the beginning
Sure.
of the year, we went to the Emirates Literature Festival and we were part of the sustainability kind of drive for Voices of Future Generation.
Wow, I'm so proud of all that work you've done, Colette. This is so
Thanks.
amazing. Um, quickly asking you again about the Voices of Future Generations. Is there an age bracket that children should be fitting into, or is it open to all ages?
I think it is aged 8 to 12 years, and it's a writing competition which has gone out to schools already, but children can look up that website and enter the competition. I'm not sure, I think it's still open. I think the deadline was delayed or extended. So it's something that will be running now, I think, for the next 4 years. It's an initiative for 5 years. This is the first year, another 4 years, and obviously they want the Middle East to do well and take as
Of
much
course.
participation in it as possible.
Sure. Maybe after this interview, what you and I could do is we'll find out the exact web address for our audience so we can push this out when we are writing notes before our interview. So the audience know that they have to go out there and click the link and children should write. Okay, question number 3. Are you comfortable, Colette? All good?
I am, it's all good. I'm enjoying this.
Uh, okay, what sort of a collection should we have in our shelves to read with our children?
So this is a good question, and I think there's loads of different answers to this one. I personally believe that children should have lots of books that they really enjoy, that they find funny or happy or sad, something that makes them feel in a certain way, that they like, they enjoy. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
And I think really letting them just read pretty much almost what they want. I know that sounds terrible, but just letting them read, that's the main thing, and keeping them interested. Now, you've got 2 children, I've got 2 children. When they were babies, they were interested in every book. And, you know, as they become older and as, you know, a teenage boy, trying to keep him interested in reading, well, you just let him go and read what he wants. And to be honest, we kind of let him go and he just reads now.
This
So,
is so true. Even now, my son would want to sit on the PS,
yeah,
rather than on a book. And sometimes I'm saying to myself, I don't even know if that's valid. Why are we actually giving in to them? But then you realize, okay, the generations have moved on, as they say.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is where, I mean, when I look back, books that I loved as a child and that I loved reading to my children, or like The Hungry Caterpillar. I mean, I just loved that. I remember it so well. You know, The Tiger Who Came to Tea, even the Julia Donaldson books that I loved, like the Gruffalo and things like that. I just loved reading that to my children.
Gruffalo was one of my favorites too.
Yeah,
With my
it's so
children.
lovely.
Yeah.
And then there's like some great big picture books that are just maybe not that many words, but just amazing pictures.
Mm.
If kids like these and enjoy them, you just let them have them, you know, and as long as they're interested in books, I think that's the main thing. And, you know, when I was at school, it was all about making sure you had the classics and you read a certain, you know, series. I mean, I loved like, was it the St. Clair's, Enid Blyton books?
Enid Blyton, my
Oh,
favorite. Yeah, yeah. And Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Oh,
yeah, yeah. But nowadays, I think it's important kids have fun, they enjoy them, and it means something to them.
yeah, yeah, of course. Well, I hope parents, you've listened to what Colette has said and make sure that we read. Keep reading, and children should read, actually. You know,
Yeah.
I strongly support reading myself. Okay, question number 4. So, what's the idea behind the eco heroes and the plastic planet turtles found in UAE? It sounds so incredible, and I wanted you to tell us. Spill the beans.
Okay,
Oh, she has
so
something
I
to.
have got 3 books here. I'm going to show you right now, actually. So I've got 3
Oh,
books that I've written so far.
that
So we've got
is
the first one, which is the
very,
recycling.
very
That's all. So that's the first one, which is
lift the
recycling
book
trip
a little bit.
travel.
Lift the book a little bit. We can't read. Now we can. Now we can.
Okay, so
Okay.
recycling trip trouble. Okay, that's the first one. That's obviously about recycling. Then there's the second one, which is fight for food.
Fight for food.
Okay, that's about food waste and the journey of food.
Of
Don't worry, it
course.
is fun.
So important for us.
And that is the third one, which is the Eco Heroes and the Plastic Planet. And that one is sort of probably one that we all you know, can relate to really easily because it's about plastic pollution and the ocean. And that's the one that relates to turtle.
Yeah, and this one caught my eye, you know, the plastic planet. And I think children should, I think even you and I should read it, Colette. Isn't that right? I mean, there's no age for reading these books. Actually, all of them, even the
Yeah.
other titles that you just showed us, I think we should literally do you a favor and we should all read this.
Absolutely. So this is it because the teachers and the staff and people at the schools are actually really fascinated by these and enjoy it, and they come up to us at the end of sessions and say, "Oh, I didn't know that," and you know, that's really good. Thanks for letting me know. And obviously, it's stories that are supposed to be fun and silly and humorous and everything.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you know, in the Plastic Planet, it's talking about. They go paddle boarding or wherever, they go down to the beach, but ultimately there's a message in there about microplastics, you know, plastics in the food chain, what we do with plastic bottles when we're finished, you know, cigarette butts in the beach, and also like old discarded fishing nets. You know, these are sort of major things that we really need to address, but it's difficult to address them in a fun way or some way that engages children. And so that's the main thing behind the Plastic Planet. And also we talked about turtle conservation and ocean conservation and everything like that as well. So I actually really
turtle conservation is becoming really big, isn't it? Sorry, Colette. I was saying turtle conservation is coming out really big now in the UAE, right?
Yes. So there are several endangered species here, and there's also lots and lots of nesting sites as well. So there's loads of organisations, like there's the Dubai Turtle Rehabilitation Project.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, and then there's also one at Al Naseem as well, where they have the Turtle Rehabilitation Centre. And also our supporting partners for that book is WWF. So Emirates Nature, WWF, and what they do is they have a tracking program where they put satellite trackers on certain turtles, and then they can get more data about where they're nesting, where they're breeding, and that helps us look after them better.
This is very interesting, actually. Maybe after we're done with our interview, you should lead me to them, because I think more and more people should know about these topics.
Yeah. Definitely.
So question number 5. Now, everybody knows Rags likes fashion and style. but this is what I liked, Colette. So you wore D-grade t-shirts. Okay, I have to say the name caught my eye. Made from recycled plastic bottles. Can you tell me everything about this? D-grade should be biodegradable, if I understand it correct. Is that right?
So I don't know if it's biodegradable. However, I will tell you this much. So D-Grade is a company here in the UAE which recycles plastic bottles through their Simply Bottles campaign. And a lot of schools will already be involved with Simply Bottles because they go out and collect all the plastic bottles from the schools and then take them along to D-Grade and make them into t-shirts, or make them into a yarn. Yeah. Which is then mixed with cotton and made into t-shirts. So we support D-Grade and vice versa very much with what we're doing. And yeah, I think it's a great thing that they're doing. It's fantastic. And trying to get children more, more aware of what's in clothing, what they can do with plastic already. And yeah, just trying to do as much as we can with the waste that we've already got. So D-Grade is the company that you need to go and check out. And yeah, definitely. Yeah, and they do, you know what? They do school bags as well, and loads of different things like that, which is really fantastic.
Amazing, amazing. Wow, that is so good to know, Colette. My interview with you, I think, is going to lead me to a lot more channels that I should be putting on the screen. Thank you for that, Colette. Yeah. Okay, so what's your prime message to celebrate the UAE Environmental Day? Any tips for children? And I know lots of children, I will personally make sure will watch our interview. So Colette Barr has to give us some tips for the children. And what's your message?
Okay, so World Environment Day coming up on the 5th of June. Currently, I have 0 plans for that at this point in time, but we will find some. I'm not too worried about that. The main thing and the main message is that everybody really can make a difference. So no matter how small it is, no matter what you do, every choice that you make when you're buying something, when you're getting takeaway food, when you're buying a toy, when you're reading a book, everything that you do relates to the environment in some way or makes a difference to somebody or something somewhere. And I think that children can really get a lot of inspiration if they think that they do matter and their choices do matter. So I think it's Greta Thunberg, her book was "No one is too small to make a difference." So that's the truth of the matter.
What a deep thought. What a deep thought, and what a real thought that is. I think, yeah, we all should play our part. 5th June. Colette, you and I will make sure. We'll come on my stories and we'll give them these messages starting 4th evening. So I know now my viewers will remind us. Oh, okay. Question number 7. So are you helping keep our beaches clean? Now, this is a very sensitive topic because I've grown up walking on these beaches barefoot. And when we were growing up, Colette, we didn't have, Dubai was very small at that time. That should just summarize what I wanted to say. So how are you helping clean beaches? Are you participating in any of those moves? What's your stand on this?
Okay, so first of all, we have beautiful beaches here, and we're actually so lucky that our beaches are relatively clean. And Dubai Municipality and also across the UAE, generally speaking, the government looks after the beaches very well. However, they do. However, things like cigarette butts, you don't even see them. and they are actually one of the biggest causes of plastic pollution across beaches. So we still have a lot of work to do in terms of beach cleanups. And we are very much sort of partnered with several companies and organisations which carry out beach cleaning. So in order to do it sort of properly, I think they need to have a volunteer licence.
Yes, yes.
So, companies or organisations like ASRAC, which is an ocean conservation organisation, Companies for Good, they arrange for activities for companies to go out and do good, like beach cleans. And there's lots of other different organisations as well, and they arrange for people or schools to go out and do cleans. Also, I think Kids for a Better World, as a student-led organisation as well. So there's loads of different activities like that. Lots of people who can arrange all of these beach cleans and activities for cleaning up the place. But as far as it goes for me to actually be driving any of this, I'm leaving it to these other guys and concentrating on the writing.
You're doing your part, Colette. I think what you should do now is tell my viewers, our viewers, that come on, guys, wake up. We have to go clean the beach. I know maybe not literally now, but why not?
Yeah, absolutely. And every single time you're out on the beach, because obviously they're opening up soon, everybody just makes their part. You bring your bucket and you can just get rid of all of the cigarette butts that are around you. And it's also about choices as well. Again, are you bringing plastic bottles to the beach? Are you bringing your plastic sunscreen every time you go? I mean, we've just got to be careful and limit the amount of plastic that we're buying and bringing around with us as well. And then we don't have that problem of having to clean it all up.
Sure. Yeah. My daughter, the last time I remember, she didn't want to use a sunscreen. Can you believe that, Colette? Because she realized that this is plastic, mommy. Yeah. But I was proud of her. Don't know, no sunscreen good or not, but I was proud of her because she understood and she linked and she related it to the right, key points. And she said, Mommy, but this is plastic. And it was.
Yeah. And that's the thing as well. There's not enough alternatives yet. I mean, there are lots of things coming on the market. There's lots of things out there, but it's not easily accessible to the majority of people at this point in time.
Don't worry, it takes one rags. I'm going to bring them all out on the screen and then connect all our kind. Okay, shall we move to the next question, Colette?
Go for it.
You also do a lot of book donation campaigns. This I read about. Tell us about this in detail and how can we as a city grow this kind of tribe with you? How can we help you?
Okay, so I'm going to correct you because I don't do too much of it, but there is a fantastic library nearby. It's called My Little Library or The Little Library. It is literally 3 doors away from me here in Jumeirah. And it is a not-for-profit organisation which is set up to share books and reading with whoever wants it. And so I put on something onto my page last week or the week before, and I was going out and I was taking lots of those lovely, lovely books that I was talking about earlier on, all the picture books. Right. I was too scared to let go of a few years ago, and I brought them and delivered them off to this little library. And it's great because there's lots of adult books there, but also lots of children's books. And lots of people were commenting saying, oh, we would love to do something like this, and this is really something that we...
Why not? Yes.
Yeah. There's also a few like book sharing apps, and there's some book sharing organisations that I've seen out there, or like second-hand books where you can get really cheap books, and just it's like a token donation really, which is pretty much just for the admin charges. But there's lots of different organisations like that. So maybe at some point we can...
we should. Yeah, this is another point that we should factor in and we should talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the second-hand book market is picking up as well.
Yes.
I think it's really good.
My children have so many now.
Yeah, and also there's some foundations as well. Like I know the Kalamat Foundation is a really, really good one in Sharjah, where they push reading and books. There's also like the Al Jalila Children's. Um,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
so there's so many places that we could really do a lot more with. And actually, this question's boosting me to think about what more can we actually do on that side of
Yeah, I
things.
mean, just think about that, right? It just takes one interview.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So I'm thinking, oh, I should probably be doing a bit more in this space, but
No, but I like how you're going into this whole introspection and you're like thinking, okay, now we can do this, and we will, and we will. Let's tell our viewers collectively, you know, why not? We're forming a tribe after all, like minds. Okay, so now our main goal of this channel, I mean, all our viewers know, Colette, and you know as well, is about vouching to go green. Tell me what you think about recycling in general, and also about all the fab work that I've been reading, where you're going around voicing this as an important point that we need to factor in from time to time.
okay, so we all know that recycling is not the answer. It is a solution, but it is something that we can all start with, and it's sort of an easy, it's like a low-hanging fruit, an easy fix to things that you can recycle. So when you talk about paper or plastic, you know, aluminum, stuff like that, which is very kind of out there, easy to recycle.
Yeah.
I think just constantly reminding people that they need to do it, raising awareness of it is just really, really key because, but people always say as well, oh, but maybe it doesn't actually end up being recycled. And, you know, maybe it all just gets put in the recycling bin, the company takes it away and dumps it in landfill anyway. Now, yes, that happens in a number of situations, but there's also many companies that are out here where they're doing fantastic work, but their communication and their awareness to the public about what they're doing isn't out there. So the public doesn't know the good work that they're doing a lot of the time. And there's a lot of really good, I've seen it myself here, separation, places where they separate all of the different trash into very different types. And it's a really, really high tech process that goes on that people are just not aware of. So recycling for sure, and that was my first kind of love. That's why my first book was about recycling. But also, it's really important that kids realise, and adults too, that it's like technological recycling is really important too. So there's an initiative at the moment.
Laptops, iPads, phones. I've seen this one.
Everything, right? Like absolutely everything that you've got can be that's got a switch or a wire can be recycled. So there's an initiative at the moment called Tech for Trees, which is happening here in the UAE, and they'll come and they'll pick up all your old used tech, take it away, sell the bits that they can, and also plant trees on your behalf, which is fantastic. There's also like the environmental group around the corner. From me, we are doing lots of school initiatives like that as well.
We're actually a voice of EEG as well. So everything that you spoke about, Colette, you know, they asked us to push that out on our storyline. And I mean, people were like, wow, they were bowled over actually. And so many of them actually did that. So the initiative was, it was a super hit.
Yeah, well, that's great. And everybody knows they've got, I mean, I've got drawers in my house full of wires and old iPads and things. And, you know, every few months phone up somebody to come and take some of the old, you know, stuff away. And it's great if you think that it's actually being reused. And actually here as well in the UAE, we've got like the largest recycling or e-recycling facility in the whole of the region. So it's great that that is actually able to recycle a lot of our tech stuff. And also there's also brilliant organizations and companies doing work on recycling.
I know this Tadveer because I'm doing an interview with Tadveer. So they, I think, are more or less like the government owned, you know, organization. Probably not as big as the e-recycling. I don't know much about the e-recyclers, but I do know that Veer is equally, they're big. So
Yeah,
we're going to be interviewing with them, and they have some lovely things to tell us, something really new. Their insights are going to be really something that we should all sit down, listen to them, and we should all do as we're told them. So
brilliant. That's good because it's awareness as well, right?
that's
Um,
awareness.
so at the moment, because everyone's wearing these masks and gloves and everything, obviously there's a big push to try and make that more environmentally friendly. And there are some really fantastic companies doing work here with local tailors and using offcuts from the fashion industry to make
Yeah,
masks and to keep the tailors in business and
masks.
yeah, and to you know, give money for a good cause.
Yeah,
So that's our friends at One Good Thing.
yes.
So yeah, so there's lots of really great things like that happening as well. So you can recycle everything. And actually, in one of the books, it mentions, you know, can you recycle food? And the answer is no. But actually, you know, you can with through food waste and using up leftovers and everything. I
Yeah,
suppose that's a form of recycling as well. So
yeah.
we can
Even the
recycle.
banana peels. Yeah, is it true? Sorry,
Well,
Colette, is it true? Even the banana peels. So
I don't know, but I do know that I was looking at a fantastic pair of trainers online that are made of apple skins. So I think they can do
wow.
pretty much anything these days if they put
Yeah,
their mind.
pretty much anything. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, wow. I'm so glad we've taken this interview up like this on Zoom. So we're both at our pace, and I like how we're opening out, and the viewers are going to get so much more info.
oh, that's good.
Okay, so my question number 10 for you, Colette, is in very simple words, how can you explain to these little children who are going to be watching us the concept of sustainability? So it can be very simple, maybe in just one or two lines.
So if we want things that are lovely to last, or we want things to last for the future, then we really need to look after them and make sure that we're not causing any harm to anything else in
Sure.
our way. So it's to make sure that we can keep all the lovely things as good as possible for the future.
Sure. Yeah, yeah,
I'll
yeah.
stop there.
So we have to just think about our future, all our viewers. And how important do you think it is for our children to learn the value of planting a tree? This is very close to my own heart because when I said that we are part of the voice of EEG, the Emirates Environment Group are running a campaign called ORUK. And I want to use this platform to tell the viewers, just to remind them, they already know from us, but OROK is one root, one community. So they plant trees. But Colette, you tell me from your point of view, how important is it?
It's extremely important. It is beyond important. The trees are the lungs of our planet, you know, and we need to plant more trees. We've cut them down everywhere we've gone to try and build, and so now we need to make sure that we're trying to plant as many trees as possible to cut our carbon footprint, so or
Yeah,
carbon emissions.
emission,
So
yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, I think that's fantastic, and I think it's really, really good. I mean, and also for our well-being, humans, we're animals. We are calm around trees and nature, and it's
Yeah,
really important that we have that. You know?
sure, yeah, yeah. We need to save trees. And I mean, I think personally, if I was to tell you from my experience, when we were growing up, Colette, we had, of course, for obvious reasons, we grew up with a lot more green. So there were
Yeah,
so many trees. So now I know they say Elaine is the green city of UAE. And it's very green and it's got those green trees all around. But I want to take a moment and tell the viewers Dubai was just like that when we were
yeah,
growing up. So isn't that so unbelievable? It,
totally.
it
And I know,
still is very beautiful and it's a growing city. But yeah, I have these visions of Dubai being brown sand, green date palms. And so,
yeah,
it was a really
absolutely.
beautiful combination, beautiful blend.
Totally. So where I come from
Yeah,
as well is really, really green and really full of trees.
of course.
And
Yes.
and the thing is as well, it avoids sickness in humans as well. We
Yeah.
need trees around us to grow and
Mm.
be well.
Yeah.
And also, I really like what Pakistan have done, where there's been
Mm.
so many people who have lost their jobs through
Mm.
the COVID-19 kind of crisis of the last few months and have lost their jobs. And now Pakistan, the government is giving money to lots of those people who are unemployed to plant trees because they realise the importance of planting so many trees. I think that's fantastic. So,
it is. It's such a beautiful thought. Yes. And thank you for highlighting this on our platform.
No, that's good. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. It's great and fantastic work with EEG. That's excellent.
Thank you. Yeah. EEG will be listening to you and watching us. They were excited about Colette Barr. Okay, question number 12. And this is our finale question, after which you and I can get a little candid with each other. So are you also writing books on the importance of picking up trash? We spoke about that. Sorting garbage, planting gardens, making laundry products at home, and there could be so much more.
Okay, so I could write about absolutely everything. There is so much to write about. But well, I have got 5 topics, 5 books. Yeah. So the first 3 I've mentioned already. So that's recycling, food waste, which is really the journey of food and about sort of food security.
Yeah, it's very vital for us, the food waste. It's a very good topic.
Well, that also mentions, composting and what you can do at the end of the sort of life of your food is composting and planting. And then the plastic book, which obviously touches on ocean conservation as well. Then my 4th book that I've just finished is on water conservation and sanitation. And that also talks about using local plants as well. I mean, it's obviously a bit more fun than that, but it comes into it that they're, local plants use less water in your gardens and things like that. And the last one is on clean energy, so alternative energies that we can use as well.
I love this one.
So, and I've been asked,
you've said about renewable sources, right? Should we talk about renewable sources? More renewable sources, energy, yeah.
And we've got so much solar coming on track here as well. And obviously we're such a fantastic hub for solar going forward. So in my country, it's like wind and wave is the biggest. But here we've got lots of solar opportunities. And
of course,
and what I was going to say there, I've been asked to write a few books on different things. So soil, for example, trash, recycling.
How
lots
interesting.
Of different types. Lots of different types of books highlighting different things. But I can't cover everything.
Sorry, I lost.
Did you get that there?
No, of course not. Yeah. A little bit. We went a little here and there, but it's okay.
Okay.
I think the audience understood. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. So I can't cover everything, to be honest, but there are lots of organisations that we know about here that are doing lots in the sort of zero waste side of things, in the, you mentioned laundry, liquids, alternatives to the types of things that we're already using. There's loads, there's so many, and it's, there's more and more of these companies coming on board every day, which is fantastic. I think I need to stop writing at some stage.
Incredible. I'm so proud of you, Colette, and our viewers have gotten so lucky today, One quick question before I leave the recording. You have to tell me, so my viewers are international crowd, so we have viewers from all over the world. Is there any way they can access your books if they're not in the United Arab Emirates? I know we have a lot of viewership from the UK, from Singapore, and Australia now is picking up for us, India, of course, and the other parts of the subcontinent. So I think it's, I think I can go on and on. It's almost everywhere. So tell me, so how can we reach these books out to the viewers? Is there any way other than?
Yeah, so we have our own website, which is www.saveourworld.me.Middle East. So it's .me, saveourworld.me. And on that website, you can actually order directly from us as well. So And also Mum's World. Mum's World does online sales as well, and they and they go out beyond in the region. So yeah, you can still get books from our website directly, and that'd be fantastic.
Fantastic. I want to tell my viewers this, Colette, right now before we say bye to the viewers. Guys, you should do yourself, the children, and our environment a favor, no matter what age you are. I'm picking these books up from Colette. I hope you guys are going to do the same. Colette, any message, any last leaving bye-bye message for our viewers?
So thanks for listening, and thank you very much, Rags, for having me on board. Yes, everybody can make a difference, absolutely. We do have a climate emergency, so everybody needs to get on board as soon as possible, and every single little thing that you do makes a difference. So thank you.
Well said, Dad. Thanks, Colette. Stay with me on the screen. I'm just going to stop recording. Guys, this was your show host, Rags, and coming up soon with lots more. But for today, this will be Colette Barr's screen.